Are you curious about how your daily cup of coffee might affect your cognitive health and longevity? In this video, we're breaking down a fascinating study that explores the relationship between coffee compounds and brain function. Scientists conducted an experiment with mice and found that certain compounds in coffee can influence brain cells and potentially impact cognitive abilities. So, if you're a coffee lover curious about how your cup of joe could play a role in your long-term brain health and overall well-being, this video is for you. This study looked at two powerful polyphenols found in coffee, known for their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. The researchers examined both cognitive abilities and physical changes in the brain. The results showed significant changes in the brains of mice consuming coffee compounds. And surprisingly, a specific group of mice experienced a decrease in brain cells in particular areas.
Welcome back to the channel, where we take scientific studies and research and break it down.
This study is titled, "Coffee Polyphenols Ameliorate Early Life Stress-Induced Cognitive Deficits in Male Mice." Let's break it down. Remember, this is not medical advice. The goal of this study was to determine if specific compounds found in coffee could prevent cognitive decline in mice predisposed to such decline. To create mice predisposed to cognitive problems later in life, the researchers subjected newborn mice to early life stress. The reason for this is early life stress has been shown to lead to cognitive deficiencies, with many studies supporting the damaging effects it can have on the developing brain. For clarity, it's worth noting that the title of this experiment is a bit misleading. The study focused on two specific compounds found in coffee, not coffee as a whole. It's interesting to see that scientists, much like content creators, sometimes tweak their titles to attract more attention. The mice weren't served tiny cups of coffee along with their morning feed. Instead, they were fed a diet containing two polyphenols found in coffee, chlorogenic acid and caffeic acid. Coffee contains many more important compounds, so referring to these two polyphenols as coffee is not accurate. But hey, we get it. Coffee sounds much more interesting. So, we will follow their lead and, in this video, refer to this polyphenol concoction as a coffee compound. If you're the type of person who doesn't like being spoon-fed your information, this channel is for you. Let's build a community of curious minds. This experiment did find a relationship between this coffee compound and cognition, but there's a big twist that's hard to believe. Watch until the end to get the full story and all the correct information. Let's break it down. In this study, we have two main groups of male mice. First, there's a group of stressed mice. Within this group, one half consumes coffee compounds as part of their diet, while the other half consumes a regular diet. Second, we have another group of non-stressed mice. Similarly, half of this group consumes the coffee compounds, while the remaining half consumes a regular diet, so 4 groups in total. Early life stress was induced by limiting nesting material for the mice. This stress was intended to simulate conditions that would lead to cognitive deficits later in life. When the mice reached 4 months of age, they underwent cognitive tests. Additionally, their brains were examined to check for any loss of brain cells. Now, let's get to the results. As predicted, the mice on a regular diet that were exposed to early life stress showed impairments in their performance on various cognitive tests, including mazes and memory assessments. Interestingly, the performance of both the stressed mice and the unstressed mice improved with the coffee compound diet. This suggests that the coffee compounds had a beneficial effect on both cognitively impaired and normal mice. But wait, we haven't gotten to the interesting finding. When it comes to brain function and activity, things aren't as clear. This part of the study focuses on cell survival. We are first going to discuss newborn cells in the hippocampus. There was an interaction between early stress and diet observed in the molecular layer. The coffee compound diet increased the survival of newborn cells in unstressed mice, but contributed to a decrease in newborn cell survival in the stressed mice. In other words, the coffee compound appeared to reduce the number of cells surviving in the brains of stressed mice. Now, before you put down your coffee mug, there is more to this story. This sounds like a horrible thing, but in a stressed situation, cell activity can be overstimulated, similar to an out-of-control cancer. The mice that were exposed to early life stress had a proliferation in cell survival. The coffee compound appeared to regulate this overstimulation, returning cells to a normal level, providing a protective effect against neuroinflammation. all the while supporting cell growth in non-stressed mice. This suggests that the effect of coffee compounds on promoting the generation of new cells and neurons may vary depending on whether the brain has been exposed to early life stress. Now let's talk about microglia. They play a crucial role in maintaining brain balance, responding to injury, and regulating inflammation. The coffee compound diet increased microglial cell density in the cornu-amonis region of the hippocampus. This area is crucial for memory formation and spatial navigation. Its sensitivity makes it an ideal target for dietary interventions like polyphenols. The coffee compound diet reduced microglial complexity in another part of the hippocampus. This may indicate the polyphenol diet activated a type of clean-up, high-alert state. Dysfunction in this area is associated with age-related cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases. That's a lot of information. I have a question for you. Why do you think the researchers used male mice? Think about it and put your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for the reveal. So here are some of my unqualified thoughts. I'm not a scientist. What should we take from this? How about this? If you are a mouse that had a troubled childhood, you should not drink coffee. All kidding aside, this study is a prime example of how science is not black and white and how headlines could easily be manipulated. At first glance, one would think, dying brain cells? That has to be a bad thing. But it turns out this is a protective mechanism. It is absolutely fascinating that a plant compound can potentially affect human cells. And not just affect them, but regulate them. Not just increase cells, but level it down if there are too many. And let's not forget to mention the topic of using early stress to trigger later in life cognitive problems. If that is troubling for you, remember that there are studies that confirm no stress is also problematic. I do have a few questions. In this study, it appears the mice were given this diet while the stress was being induced, an early intervention perhaps similar to a vaccine. It would be interesting to find out if there are similar results if the diet is given after the stress. There was a surprise at the end of this study. It was noted the coffee compound was given to the baby mice through their mother's milk. I am glad to have read the original study, as I don't think that would have come through in an abstract or news article. We do not know how many of these compounds get through to the mother's milk. I never realized how divisive the subject of coffee could be until we released our channel's other coffee video. All of this brings the hope of early nutritional interventions that could heal certain pathways. Of course, this is an animal study, and we can't assume the results carry over to humans. We are thankful for the researchers and the mice. Now, the big reveal. Remember how the study used male mice? Did yourself ask why? It turns out prior research found that early stress led to impairment in male mice, but not females. By using males, the researchers guaranteed themselves stressed out mice. This is part 2 of our coffee series. Stay curious, stay informed, and we will see you in the next video.
Could you help us out by subscribing right now? Go ahead, push the button. Thanks for watching.